Boys and Girls Weekly Short with Blind Spiral. Going to get into it quickly because we are not going to do it in the normal format that I've been doing. We're just going to talk playoffs, which is what is on everybody's mind anyway. So here is your bracket. We've got the 12 teams here. Five officially eliminated from playoffs. Four locked into playoffs. One probably in playoffs. Like, oh my goodness, the things that need to happen. And two fighting for that last spot. So let's break it down in a group. So the five teams here that are pretty much into playoffs are Justin's Deli, Kung Fu Pandas, Brownout, and Ticket to Ride. There's a really weird world where the inaugurals don't make it in, but that's very difficult to have happen. We'll talk about it here in a second. The Deli, Ticket to Ride, Brownout, and Kung Fu Pandas are 100% a lock. Justin's Deli wins the Marcus Russell division. Ticket to Ride wins the Achilles Smith division. Brownout probably wins the Division of Death. I don't even know what it's called, the Division of Death. Brian Leaf division. The implications of My Cup Runneth Over are done. They're locked in the toilet bowl. Game over. End of story. That's locked in for them. But the rest of the spots are really up for grabs. So, mention the inaugurals having a weird route here. Best case scenario, they make playoffs. Worst case scenario, then the extra pick bracket. But everything needs to go wrong for them to have that happen. So, Flynn needs to go 2-0. Chase needs to go 2-0. The inaugurals need to go 0-2 and lose to Chase by 80 points. So there's a very small chance that it happens, but it could for sure happen. Super unlikely. I can't imagine an 80-point deficit, but there is a really weird world in which the inaugurals don't make it. So I have them as in, but who knows? We'll see. Talk about Justin's Deli. The best case scenarios are the second seed, the worst case scenarios are the third seed. It looks like they'll be the it looks like they'll be the third seed. Wow, I'm fumbling hard on this one. It looks like they'll be the third seed. Code would need to go 0-2 on Ticket to Ride. The Deli would need to go 2-0, and even then there's the points for. So there's a really small chance, but that also seems very unlikely, especially when both teams are playing in a quote-unquote bye week with Deli against the Nate and Code against the Implications. Webster Tigers, their best case scenario, they're officially eliminated from playoffs. Their best case scenario is the extra pick bracket where they hold on. Their worst case scenario is Toilet Bowl. They need to lose their games. Project needs to win his games. And Rick needs to win his games, go 2-0 to make it in there. And it could happen. So even with a 0.4 differential, if the Webster Tigers go 0-2, they would be then at 10 wins when Rick and Project could both end up at 11 wins. So there's a chance they're in the Toilet Bowl. I think this is very unlikely, but there definitely is a world where they do end up in the Toilet Bowl, which would then net them two of the top four picks. So it could be spooky. End of season scenarios for these two guys is they could end up in the extra pick bracket, and the worst case is the Toilet Bowl. One of them's in the Toilet Bowl. One of them could sneak in an extra pick, and again, I just mentioned that, right? So Morgan would need to go 0-2. One of them would need to go 2-0, and whoever goes 2-0, if Morgan goes 0-2, would sneak into the extra pick bracket and be out of the Toilet Bowl. It's difficult. I mean, I don't really see it happening. But Project and Rick have both put up some monster weeks randomly, so there definitely is a chance for that. These three teams could get the number one seed in theory. Brownout's got a really good lead on that at 21 wins, and so I think based off of based off points for, it's incredibly difficult but not impossible. Well, looking at it more, it's pretty much impossible. It's a 300-point difference. Ignore this slide. Number one seed locked out by Brownout. Ticket to Ride should then lock the number two seed. The Kung Fu Pandas could be the number 4 or 5. It doesn't really matter, though, because there is no difference between those two seeds. Liquidators and Win Like Flynn, they could sneak into the playoffs. These are the last two teams really competing for it. They both have 15 wins and 11 losses. It really is going to come down to their games this week. They are tied in their record. Points for Liquidators down by about 60. So if everything ties, Flynn would make it into the playoffs. Unless Liquidators blow out Flynn in their game, across the games per se, it seems really unlikely that would happen. But if the Liquidators go 2-0 and Flynn goes 1-1 or the opposite, it could happen there. And that does it for us. No obscure rule of the week. It's just all about playoffs. So good luck to everybody. Holdouts will happen after this week. We'll put out some information about it. Additionally, we will be doing the yearly interviews we have with our 2 bye week GMs. So next week we'll do an interview with one of the GMs on a bye week, which is probably either K Migs or Codes. The week after that, we'll do it with the opposite one as we look towards playoffs. Good luck in your respective brackets.